Hey up guys, and welcome to another instalment of Star Players, and we're going to be looking at my dwarf team. How far away is he? It's the first dwarf team that I created, and it was a multiplayer team, and I decided rather than going against the AI with the dwarves to give them a whirl on multiplayer. I got a bit more used to the game. I wanted to create a team, get some competitive games. AI is a lot easier, so I created this team. I've enjoyed playing the Dwarves. The Not my favourite team, but I've really had a bit of fun with this team, and enjoyed the matches. Found them really good, really strong, useful players to get results against a lot of opponents, and they're one of your best starting teams with all the skills that they get, with the frenzy guys, with so much block in the team, with the sure hands. And I think my starting roster with the team was going with two Drow Slayers, one runner, both blitzers, and then the rest of the linesmen. And then I was looking at, I think, a couple of rerolls with that team. And as I've developed the team, I've been able to put in another runner. I like going with two runners in the dwarf team. I think you are better off going with two runners. You've got sort of one as a to carry the ball, and one to give you some options going forward as well. And I sort of like just sort of two white sort of wing backs or two quarterbacks in your team that do most of the work and let the other guys do all the blocking, that type of thing. And and then I added the Death Roller, which is a really handy player to have in the dwarf side, and comes in really handy as you're getting into high team value matches against high team value opponents that have a lot more strength over your dwarf side. The guy itself has the the secret weapon thing, so he's going to get sent off. You're not going to have him the entire match, and to sort of counteract that, I've put on the stadium. I gave the stadium the bribe improvement enhancement, so it sort of cancels that sort of effect, leaves him in the game that little bit longer, as long as the bribe works, of course. But as soon as you score, as soon as it gets to a change of halves, that sort of thing, you're going to lose him. So having the extra bribe in there is really, really useful with a dwarf team. Regards to the guys playing them, you do sort of have one style. You sort of have the ball carrier and you protect him, and you move up the pitch really slowly, and you wanting to pick up injuries. You've got players in the team that get developed, get mighty blow, can cause a lot of grief to opponent sides, especially the sort of weaker armour sides. And with having armour 9 as well, most of the guys are pretty indestructible. It's going to take quite a bit to injure them, to kill them, unless you're coming across the claw, which obviously every team has that problem when they high armour value teams. But the dwarves also have the fixed skull ability, so with your dwarves having fixed skull and your players, claw is a little bit less effective. And say you do get a guy with general aid that would be KO'd with the fixed skull, he's just stunned, he's not actually knocked out. So it does come into its own, it does help you out. We'll go to the team roster and have a look at the guys, talk about them a bit more as we go through them, go through the players, the choices, that kind of thing. And you can see there's not really that many that are towards the end of the career, or towards the higher end of the skill points, I should say. But I still think it's a really good side. It's developing into a really strong team, and I wanted to showcase one of the players in particular, but also to go through it, get a bit of feedback, tell me I'm going to go through my ideas, give us a heads up, give if you think I'm right, if I'm wrong, and then if you're a new player, you might want to consider some of the choices I'll give you a bit of a rundown on why I've chosen them and sort of why I think it might be helping the team. We'll open the first guy up. Really do like the Troll Slayers. Fantastic looking models. I like them in game as well. I like the hairstyles, the fact that they've got these big ginger beards and haircuts, covered in tats, you know, hairy arms, hairy back. Very dwarvish, really good looking characters. And they start off with 3 really good skills. You get block, thick skull, and dauntless on these guys. Strengths and weaknesses, you know, low movement, although armor 5 is one of your quicker players. I mean movement 5, beg your pardon, is one of your quicker players. And you've got strength 3, agility 2, so regards to the agility, he's not the player you're going to be looking at in your team to do those sort of things. You go into your blitzers and to your runners really for any kind of pick up, pass, catch, those sort of agility based skills. And armor 8. Now, you know, I mean, I found with these guys, armor 8, they tend to be a bit of a target when you're playing other teams, and I do try to play with them sort of a bit further back because of the extra movement. They can get into areas, they can become real handy players for the blitzes, for blocks, to join in the ruckus, you know, and they do pick up the injuries. They do sort of level up on them grounds pretty quickly. This guy's not actually got Mighty Blow, but I've gone plus armour and jump up. Plus armour, I love giving on these guys. I love shoring the dwarf team up, making it a lot tougher, giving most of my teams that are low arm, you know, with low armour, and they are you sort of, you know, your standout players. I'm giving them a little bit more armour. If they were a faster player with armour 8, you know, if they were a movement 6, movement 7, armour 8 kind of player, then I'd pick the movement over the armour. You know, like such as your wolves, things like that. Yeah, I'd go movement on those guys. But here we go. I mean, I've chose the armour. It's given 5, 3, 2, 9. Looks a lot more solid. He's got the frenzy ability. He's got the dauntless ability, so obviously you can get 2 die against your strength 4s if it's just him there. Or is it 1 die? Sorry, and then 2. You know what I mean with the dauntless anyway. It improves on a strength 3. In respect of the actual characteristics, told you about the movement. I'd take strength all day long. I wouldn't take agility, and I will take the armour above the movement on these guys. And going forward, well, with the jump up, we're looking at giving him probably in this order as well. I'll give him Mighty Blow next. Then I'd go, it's a toss up, Mighty Blow next. Then I'd go Tackle or Piling On. Then I'd give him after that his final skill, probably Stand Firm. Stop him being surfed after doing the surf. I think that would be really handy to have on him. Does frustrate opponents when you do have Stand Firm, sidestep, those sort of things. And if I'm getting a double, I'd like to give him the sidestep. Then I can probably put guard on him instead. You know, it would be really handy to have sidestep guard. I could go with dodge as well, make him harder to kill, harder to injure. Be a blodge troll slayer, you know. So there's plenty of ways to go, but the actual skills I'm picking are going to be based along the piling on and the frenzy. We'll go on to the next guy. Very similar in build, and the way I've gone with this guy, or the way I'm going to go with this guy. And I've given him Mighty Blow first, and then I've given him the armour, and it's quite surprising. But I mean, he's 20 out of 31, so he's developing a little bit slower than the other guy. With having taken the Mighty Blow first, and I'm not so sure why that is. I mean, the other guy's just been getting the dice rolls I guess. But I do like this guy with his mohawk. Really cool with all the tats. Great looking models. Some of the dwarf players, the dwarf armours, colour schemes I really do like, and I bought a few of the extra colour schemes for my teams that you can get in the shop. And we'll move on to our star of the team, and is the runner that I started off with, sure hands, fit skull, movement 6, strength 3, agility 3, armour 8. He's going to be doing all your running. He's going to be getting the ball, doing your running. As I said before earlier on in the video, I like having two of these guys from the offset. Some players probably just want to go with the one. Have the extra armour, you know, that kind of player in there. I can understand having one of these on the bench and then, you know, going one, but I do like to go two. Gives you so many more options, handoff options, all sort of things. And if you get the rolls like I've done in this actual team, then with the extra agility on these guys, that option and the passing option and stuff like that becomes so more viable. Right, well, we'll look at his rolls because they are really good. And I've got a double first. I want to give the double to my ball carrier. His dodge, make him a blodge ball carrier. Really good to have with the sure hands. Makes him tougher again to get the ball off. And the sure hands cancels out the strip ball. And then I've got really lucky. I mean, I got a +1 agility in the next roll, and I was made up with that. Thought it was fantastic to get an agility 4 carrier, stroke runner. And after that, another one, really good. Having an agility 5 dodge blodge guy in your team, on a dwarf team especially, it's absolutely fantastic, and it's giving him so many points. And it's subject to a lot of lightning bolts, a lot of fireballs, but I mean the guy's still with us. He's still drinking his beer. He's still happy. He's still improving. He's got one level to go, and I'm gonna give him the block to make him that blodge, as I've mentioned, and then he got a strength. And I mean he's such a ball carrier now, and he's got ways. You know, he's got more uses now. If he's not carrying the ball, if we've got someone else, blitzer on the other runner, maybe have the ball. You know, his extra strength comes in, especially against your higher value teams. I don't like putting him sort of in harm's way too much, to be perfectly honest. So I'd use his strength when he's carrying the ball to sort of blitz his way out of danger, if anything. So, you know, with his final roll there, I'd be looking general skills to help him with those sort of situations. I'd probably like to give him something like frenzy, and there's a few other useful skills there that you can take. I mean, I could sort of go in the passing sort of direction, but I won't like to do that. Only on the basis dwarves aren't really a sort of catchy team. I could sort of throw it between the two runners, but I'll probably develop the second guy along them lines. Give this guy something a little bit more aggressive. If I got a double, on that basis, I mean, I could give him sidestep that come in really handy with those skills. I could give him mighty blow. There's plenty of guard. There's plenty of stand firm. There's plenty of mighty blow in the team, and I'd also consider leap. I think it'd be great to see him leaping about there, give him another dimension to his game, make him a proper fun player. So I mean, if you've got any ideas how to develop this guy's final skill, please let me know what your ideas are there to round him off, make him that legend if he's not already. Next runner, we'll have a quick look at him. Just go over him, and it's the same sort of theory in respect to the other guys picking the ball up, doing most of the work. And you know, he's got his fit skull, which helps him. He's got his armour 8, so it does come in handy. Um, and I've developed him into a little bit. I was developing him into a little bit of a sacker with his movement 6. He's one of my faster players. He's strength 3, so you know it'd be. He's on his sacking. It's probably going to be, you know, you're probably going to be looking at a 1-day sack, but with him on the strip ball wrestle, give him tackle, you know, it's got a lot more success rate there of actually, you know, getting the ball off the opponent. And I got an agility, so that was really good to have 2 agility 4 plus in the dwarf team. I've been so lucky there, proper made up with it, and this guy started picking up points now quite a bit, with him sort of getting some decent roles, with me giving him skills that sort of, you know, as a sweeper, as a defender, that opponents are going to be wary of, because he's got that ability now to strip the ball, get away. A double and a dodge on this guy would be fantastic. And we are looking tackle, we're looking at giving him something else there to aid him, maybe with the agility. I could sort of go pass and accurate, and then I'd have really 2 really good agility based players in a dwarf team, which you don't see very often, and it'd be a lot of fun to have them in this team. Right, we'll go on to our linesmen. There's a lot there to go through. I'll probably just show a few of them, talk about them a little bit. The higher level ones. One of your best linesmen in the game, your dwarf team. Your rookie dwarves against rookie elves, and blodgy sort of sides. The Amazons are coming out soon. You know, they'd absolutely hate to be matched against these early on and later on with all the tackle in the team. I know as elves, I hate coming up as against dwarves. I know that I can outscore them, but I'm always just worried about the tackle, dodging out of the tackle zones. With so many players having that tackle as well, it does become more difficult when you're playing the elves. And these guys, I mean, your first 2 skills, if you don't get a characteristic improvement, excuse me, the only 2 that are considered there are extra movement and extra strength on these guys. Some of you might not agree with the extra movement, but having some movement 5 linesmen really does come in handy, and you do get a lot of the players being very samey, develop the same sort of way. So having a few in there with some extra characteristics, just to give your team a little bit more dimension, a little bit more about themselves, you know, does come in. And you can't sort of turn down movement really on a movement 4, can you? I mean, if it was one of your, if he had extra strength, then, you know, maybe, you know, your movements, you know, not as critical. But to get in the areas, to get his guard in the areas, to become sort of useful off it, you know, being knocked down and jumping up and moving an extra square, does become really useful. Respect to his skills, I mean, you're looking mighty blow or guard. With you having so many linesmen, mix that up. Unless you get a characteristic role, then you're looking at your piling on, you stand firm. I do like the piling on the blitzers, probably more than the linesmen, but having a few, you know, a good number of linesmen with that ability, with plenty of guard round and plenty of players to sort of protect them while they're down, and, you know, giving him that extra chance to injure a player that maybe has just been stunned or just been KO'd, and you take the risk on the re-roll on piling on. You know, it is handy. It's really handy having in your team a few of these guys, especially high team value. When you're looking at so many claw, you want players that can deal the damage back, get your opponents worried, turn your team into a really bashy, dangerous side. Extra skills there. I mean, I mentioned stand firm, doubles. I'd only look at taking dodge on these guys, I think, off a double roll. you know, maybe jump up, but I think if you had the choice, you go dodge every time. It'd be nice to get some dodge linemen in there. Really good, really handy to have. As I mentioned in previous videos, getting the dodge, helping them become higher, you know, giving them better chance to get to high team skill point value, and also surviving the sort of haul, not getting injured, not picking up injuries, getting knocked down, that sort of thing. Everyone knows what dodge does, what it does help assist you with when you're not an agility based player, why you put it on that player. And then you know, other ones you could take, you know, I mean, he's got the thick skull. So, I mean, with the final, you go stand firm, won't you? So I mean, you're looking at general skills as well, and there's quite a few useful ones there. You could put some extra frenzy on these guys, or some fend. You know, you could put kick on these guys. Really useful to have kick on your dwarves. You know, kick off the ball, keep it close to the line, so you're not kicking it towards the opponent's touch end zone. And then, you know, if you do get a blitz action, you can get some players in there with only having low movement, and, you know, cover that sort of ball, the area where the ball's going to land, and put some good blocks in, blocking players around that area, as well as throwing a blitz in there. So, you know, that's why I'd take tackle, I mean kick on this team, and why it's really, really useful as well on a sort of slow movement side. And, you know, like a few other choices. Let us know what you like putting on your dwarf linesman. One of your best linesmen in the game. You know, starting skills wise, movement and the agility isn't very good at all. Your strength's pretty bog standard linesman sort of strength, and then you've got your armour, but as a starting player, having block, fit, skull, tackle makes them one of the best starting linesmen, if not the best starting linesman that you can have in a rookie team, with the armour 9, you know. And these guys, when they do get an extra strength, do become really, really vital players in your team. It's really good to have, you know, extra strength in your dwarf team, particularly for high value team matches, because you do get out strengthed even with the death ruler. So having a 2, 3, 4 guys in there, if you're lucky enough, with the extra strength, brilliant. It makes it such a better team, a strong, really strong side. We'll just have a quick look at one of the other linesmen, who's this guy, who's I've given the extra movement to. I couldn't turn it down, and there's no point giving him armour 10. I don't think, you know, I might consider an armour 10 guy if he was, you know, something like me, Chaos Warriors, or me, maybe me or Black Hawks, you know, just to sort of help them survive. On the linesman, I don't think it's as critical. They're your cheapest player. You're going to get a lot of them. They're going to have very same skills. You are going to end up losing the guys, but rather than just leveling up and having them all very samey, the extra movement, you know, brilliant. And that's why it's on this guy. It gives, you know, it can get around a bit better, you know, around the back, get into areas, and he's got the tackle, so opponents are going to be wary of this guy. Here we go to our blitzers. They're weak, aren't they? Starting off, they are weak. You know, you've got the extra movement and you've got the extra agility on these guys, so they do stand out compared to, you know, they've got the extra agility and the same stats, and the extra armour. So you know, they are extra movement, extra agility than your linesmen, so they are better players. They miss out on the tackle. If they had tackle from the start, to be really good, wouldn't they? And it's one of the skills you're going to put on these guys. You want to develop these into your sort of piling on guys. They do pick up a lot of injuries. I don't know why, really. I mean, you do. I suppose with the blitzes, you do tend to blitz a little bit more with these guys than your linemen. But you're looking to put the same sort of skill sets on there, and when you get an extra strength, you could even consider extra agility on these guys as well, and extra movement as well. So I mean, on this guy, I think I'd throw on the extra movement, the extra strength. I would put on the extra agility also, especially in this team. To have another agility 4 player would give me a lot more options going forwards. Armour, I wouldn't bother. I really wouldn't bother. I might do, you know, if I got him to that last level and he was a fantastic player. If you got another strength and another agility and then I got an armour, I go, yeah, I'm having that. You know, so never say never, but there we go. You're looking piling on. Try to get jump up. Yeah, with that would be really useful. And then you consider your dodge as well. And, you know, you could put frenzy on these guys as well, with them having movement 5. It's not going to cost you as much maybe on risking a turnover with the extra movement as it would do on one of your linemen. So plenty of ways again to develop these guys. If you go in the frenzy way, you do want to stand firm, something along them lines, I'd say. And you know, good luck with the rolls on these guys. I've got a really good guy here, a go-to player with his strength in the matches that I'm playing with this team at the minute. He's become vital with that extra strength, being a blitzer with extra movement, and with the armour 9. I'm not sort of as scared to get these guys involved as maybe like I would be with the runner, with the armour 8. And finally, here we go. We'll have a look at the death roller, and everyone knows about these guys that's played against them. You know, you don't want to get close to these fellas. You want to keep away from them as much as possible. I tend to put him on the line, whether I'm attacking or defending. He's there. He's at the front of the line. You know, it's very rare that you get someone that's going to try and surround this guy and take him out. Very, very rare. And with having so many guard and those type of players around him, it is tough for them to do that anyway with his strength 7. Really good set of skills to start off with. The Juggernaut, brilliant. Mighty Blow speaks for itself. You've got to utilise this guy as much as possible. Get as much out of him. So I won't go chasing players down, that kind of thing with these guys from the offset. Try and get him in an area where there's a group of players where it becomes handy. Try and, you can get multi-block on him, those sort of things. With my rolls, I've got block, so that's really useful. He gets a lot of 3 die rolls when he's throwing a block, when he's tackling an opponent. So, but getting the block on there, really handy. Extra movement again, really useful. Keeps him up with a lot of opponents. They're not getting away. Plus the extra move on them really does become, it's, would you take anything else on these? Would you actually take an extra strength on one of these guys? Would you need to? I mean, you don't, do you really? I mean, the extra movement is one that I bang on him. Guard comes in brilliant. So I've had 2 really good rolls starting off there on this guy. 2 of the best rolls you can get, and then I've put on one of his strongest automatic choices with the strength without having doubles, those sort of things. What else would you do? I mean, what else would this say about these guys? I don't know why they have dirty player. I mean, you're not gonna foul anyone with this guy. I mean, you're risking him being sent off, and he's going to get sent off anyway. So, I mean, If you've got if you've got an abundance of bribes somehow, then yeah, maybe. But you'd want to keep them for him anyway. And having the bribe on the stadium improvement, you know, you don't want to use that on, say, um, you know, fouling someone with this guy. I mean, you could put foul on some of your linesmen. I mean, that's quite a useful skill on a rookie sort of dwarf linesman. Keep him on the bench or field him and, you know, throw some in until he gets sent off. Have that kind of extra option on there in your high sort of value team games. And that's pretty much the death roll. I mean, I found him, if anything, a little bit underwhelming. I was hoping he'd pick up a lot more injuries, that type of thing. I mean, he does get a lot of stuns, a lot of KOs, I have to say. And he does get a lot of 3-die pushes as well. So, you know, get used to that. Throwing these 3-dies and getting a lot of pushes or a lot of blocks. They're pretty good at that, I have to say. And, you know, hopefully now he's going to start picking up a few more points. He's going to be one of the players that survives, gets to the end of his career, gets really high. You're hoping for a few more rolls on there, roll doubles, those sort of things. You know, characteristics. If I got a strength, I probably would take it. I probably would have to take it because you're reliant on too many of just his strength axes, and some of them I probably wouldn't, you know, consider on him, such as the fixed skull. You know, it's a bit of a waste, isn't it? Well, there you go. There's the dwarf team. Really, really good starting team. Really good high T value team as well. They can hold their own against everyone, especially when you get a really good set of roles on your team. Don't pick up too many injuries. And that's my dwarf team. How far away is he? Hope you're enjoying the videos, guys. Leave us a little bit of feedback, please, if you get a minute. It'd be nice to hear off some of you players, new or otherwise, to the game. And take care, guys. Bye now.